It's kind of fitting this is called Last Resort because it looks like, of all these movies, this is gonna be in last place. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel and the 6th installment of my Wrong Turn review series. Today, we're talking about the 6th film in the franchise, Wrong Turn 6 Last Resort. I already have a review of the first 5 movies up, and I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description in case you missed any of them. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on the Wrong Turn movies were, if you've seen any of them, and make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these reviews, as it helps me out immensely by getting my channel out there and growing the community. And if you are new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases, older films, hidden gems, and so much more on a near daily basis. But let's not waste any more time and let's talk about Wrong Turn 6 Last Resort. This stars Anthony Ilott as Danny, who, after receiving news of an inheritance, is led, along with his friends, to an abandoned resort inhabited by 2 sketchy caretakers and a clan of mutant cannibals. This is written by Frank H. Woodward and is directed by Valerie Milev, and this is just a strange entry. Even though it's called Wrong Turn 6, implying it's within the same timeline as the rest of these movies, it's also described as a reboot of the franchise, which would make the upcoming movie the second reboot. So even though it's given a number as if this all goes together, it really doesn't, I guess. When you search for anything related to this movie, you don't get a whole lot of info, so I'm just going to keep this short. What I do know is it contains all 3 of the original cannibals from the 1st, 4th, and 5th movies, though it doesn't contain their caretaker, Maynard Odets. This time, the Hilliker brothers are being watched over by their relatives we've never heard up until this point, Jackson and Sally, played by Chris Jarvis and Sadie Katz, and we once again get another change in pace from some of the other Wrong Turn movies here, as this time, the cannibals take more of a back seat here. Now, we do see them a number of times throughout the movie, but they're not really the main villains our characters are dealing with. The focus is much more on Jackson and Sally, who also get in on their fair share of the action, while attempting to manipulate others around them, namely Danny, who's a relative of theirs. Even though Danny wasn't close with them prior to this, and is one of our protagonists, a lot of the film involves Jackson and Sally getting closer to him and trying to get him over to their side, as they reveal more about their family history to him. And this leads to what is easily the most boring entry in all the Wrong Turn movies. One thing I've said throughout this entire series is that these aren't character-driven movies. I know I'm repeating myself here, but I get that. People watch these mainly for their ridiculous kill sequences and campy overtones. And this attempts to change that and give us a character-driven film, and while I appreciate the effort, it simply doesn't work at all, because it leans so much more into these elements that all the slasher elements feel like an afterthought. While we do get a few extended sequences of Jackson, Sally, and the cannibals wreaking havoc, and they were some of the only times this movie ever felt fun, those are a lot fewer and farther in between here than they have been in any of the other Wrong Turn movies. Instead, we get a lot of dialogue-heavy sequences of characters sitting in rooms, giving long speeches, or getting into arguments, and if it's not a dialogue-driven scene, it's just characters wandering aimlessly through the resort, and it gets really tiresome really quickly. Especially because the acting is absolutely atrocious here. Like, this puts any of the bad acting from the other movies to shame, mainly due to the fact that everyone is just so cartoonish. Whenever characters get angry or excited, it sounds so forced and over the top. There are characters who will have very extreme reactions to the most minor of inconveniences, having total meltdowns if someone casually says even the smallest thing that's off. And there's just no chemistry among all the actors. It doesn't even feel like some of them are actually responding to the other person. And some of the dialogue is just so laughably awful. Like, there's a scene early on where 2 characters run into a sheriff who's looking for missing townspeople, which we know is due to the fact that Jackson and Sally get to them, and his one line where he says, "Have you seen any ladies beat-bopping around here?" Which I almost burst out laughing when I heard that. It is just the most ridiculous thing, and a lot of the dialogue is in that vein, and it's just atrocious. But you can't even really say it's so bad it's good. While some of the overacting is funny, it's constantly overshadowed by a lot of dragged out sequences of squabbling and arguments, and in the end, it just leads to a mostly miserable experience. This was an absolute chore to get through, easily the worst of all these movies. While taking a lot of the focus away from the cannibals and instead focusing on more character-driven horror might seem like a good idea, it winds up going totally to waste with scene after scene of boring exposition and cartoonish arguing that gets grating after a while. It's terribly acted, poorly written, and it's a true low point of a series that already had a number of lows to begin with. Wrong Turn 6 Last Resort gets a 2 out of 10. And we're done. Well, that is until we get to the reboot. And hopefully the reboot is the light at the end of the tunnel. I think it may be, but we'll see. Thanks for sticking through these with me. I'll have my review of Wrong Turn 2021 out shortly, along with a ranking of all 7 movies coming soon. So let me know, did you see Wrong Turn 6 or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Was this your least favorite entry? Did you even make it to this one? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.